Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your girl, AJ the Suburban Princess here. Hey, it's been a great week one, and me and my co-ed, Eddie B, are going to chat about it now for Birds of a Feather. What's up, Eddie B?
I'm out here just working hard and
Working hard
loving what's going on right now with our team. So
with our teams, yes. And I can say we can talk right away because at this point we know Thursday night football tonight. I'm definitely interested in watching the Bills Miami game. But let's get back to our birds just because I want to discuss how we feel after week one. Because week one really doesn't mean anything yet, but how exciting was it or weird was it for you to watch Friday Night Football on top of the fact we were watching it in Brazil
from, from another country, yeah.
from
I
another
mean,
country? What did you think? What were
it,
your first impressions?
I think my first impression was they did a overall good job for them doing this, but for the most part, I thought they did a horrible job with the field. The field was bad, and it's a soccer field. Soccer field's a little different than the football field. I mean, it's of course
Yeah.
it's a little more slick than whatever. But and that was that. I mean, that affected both teams. So it was a little sloppy. Play was a little
Mhm.
sloppy on both sides. But for the most part, look, we walked away with a win. There's some things like look, I had a feeling it was not going to be like it wasn't going to be a blowout. I knew it was going to be close. Uh, I knew that we were going to have some questions after because for the simple fact is that this is the first time we're even seeing them on the field together and actually playing at real speed.
Right.
So, I mean, and you saw there were some miscues, like the one spike, the one hike that was like he's still in the
Mhm.
middle of his cage. He's still in the middle of his cage, and he's looking at the defense. You see his eyes not even looking there down at the
Yeah.
center, and the ball hits him
Ball
right in
went
his
right
chest,
past him.
hits him right in his shoulder. He's like, and that's on. I hate to say that that's on Cam, like
It's on Cam. He'll
so
learn. He'll learn. Yeah.
and it's all right. I mean, hey, look, it didn't hurt us because you know what, our defense was the most pleasant surprise. One of my top pleasant surprises out of this whole game because that game could have got out of control with those two turnovers, like
Right. Yep.
that put them right close in striking distance, like, and they only walked away with 6 points out of it when they
Could
could
have
have
been
been
worse.
14,
Yeah.
could have walked away with 14.
Easily. Yeah.
So I mean that was good, and Zach Braun and N'Kobe Dean, they were flying all over the place.
Kobe especially.
So yeah, I mean Zach had what like 13 tackles.
Yeah. He was all
He
over
had
the
like
place.
he had a couple sacks. I'm like, wow, I mean hurries, everything. I mean he wasn't playing around. So
Mm-mm.
uh, and Saquon made just really affirm that the Giant organization is trash. I just had to say it like that. I'm sorry. The Giants
Facts is
organization is
facts.
trash. It's trash.
Come
How you let
on.
that man like he scored more touchdowns than their whole team yesterday on Friday. So
Man,
just
such a bad decision. You talking about bad business decisions. Woo!
yeah, and the Giants showing up in their Centennial uniforms and do nothing.
So nauseating to look at. I felt
Daniel
bad for him.
Jones, Daniel Jones, and his hey, that's your 40 something $1 million quarterback. So 40 $50 million quarterback. There you go.
He got booed out of his own home stadium.
Hey, I
Bad.
mean, hey, look, when you expect you're getting couple $1 million, and you barely got a $5 bill out of the whole thing.
But did you feel like could you tell whether Kellen what's his name? Kellen Moore Kellen Moore's play calling was any better, or do you feel like it all kind of looked the same?
No, I think it was way better. They were
Okay.
using motion to disguise things. I mean, like a lot of things. Like the one play where they used Dotson and AJ as decoys to draw the defense away from Saquon. So Saquon could get behind the zone and catch that ball in the corner of the end zone, going out of the
Oh,
end
that was
zone.
that play. Okay,
Yeah,
I got to go
I
back
mean
and look.
that was great. I mean, it was like you saw them use motion and threw the guys off. Like, I mean, that was great. Like, that was really good to see. So, and hopefully,
I heard that Dodson was in the game, but I wasn't sure where he was. But you just made me.
yeah, he's like number 83, I think,
Okay, so that's probably, and
or
I did see
80,
that
yeah,
number,
or
but I didn't
80,
know who
or
that
8, no,
was.
87, 87, I think.
I know he's an 80 number. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you were right when you
So
put 83.
yeah, I don't think he got any touches, but I mean, he was playing decoy a lot of times too. So
He just got here, so I wasn't expecting him to even be on the field that
yeah,
early,
and you know
honestly.
what? He could go in this game and wild out. Who knows? Like,
Seriously, yeah.
because teams are going to be like, oh, we got to worry about Saquon, and then they're not going to think about everybody else.
And honestly, give shout out to the little that Kenny Gainwell played. He got the first downs that he needed to get, the
Yeah,
little ground that he got. So
guys had some
good
key
start.
catches. Like Devonta was like he was like the silent hero of that game. He made
Ridiculous.
some great catches, like
Everywhere.
that extended some drives in that game. Like he may not score any touchdowns, but he extended a lot of drives, and he can't his route running on point. Like
I kept tweeting him, smooth criminal, because every time he showed up, it was so quick that it was like,
it's
got to the point.
and
Patch,
AJ and what AJ did to that kid Alexander after he was talking crap to him, when he like just pretty
shook him
much just
off
ran
after
him,
that, and they got that touchdown.
just ran him out of his shoes, pretty much.
You knew he was going to go back to him because AJ was already frustrated with him earlier. Because I was like, AJ hadn't gotten touches at that point, so you know he was hot. The fact that he tried to
Yeah,
tackle him that last time, I said, "Watch this," and I was not shocked that the next play ended up being AJ getting open like that and then running to the
yeah,
touchdown.
and he's so strong too. So it's
He's so strong. Yeah.
like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do against him? Your boy had a couple good catches too. Dallas.
Oh yeah, Goddard. Yeah, Goddard came in handy, especially on the side, I guess on the sides. He
Yeah,
definitely had almost like that run he did in the I forget which Kelly Green game it was, but that's what got him a touchdown.
Calcaterra
He
had a
had a
good
good
catch to save the drive too.
he had a good
I
catch
mean,
drive. Yep, yep.
and
Tight ends came in handy,
they did what tight ends are supposed to do. You come up with those short yardage catches, like
and that's what that was. Yeah, absolutely.
and I next week is gonna be against Atlanta. I mean, I know they'll show up. I mean, you'll Atlanta's gonna have to deal with trying to figure out who we're gonna cover this week. Like so,
They got to worry about Bijan up the middle because they still got depth issues up the middle. I mean, they still, and Kobe's got their hands full. I know they're going to stay with Kobe and on obviously, but I think that
yeah, but
Bijan
they'll scheme. You know what? They'll give
mentally,
like Josh Jacobs got his, but no, they kept him out of the end zone. So I mean,
yeah, Josh Jacobs wasn't much. I'm not worried about him as much as Bijan because Bijan is an actual good runner. I just know
no,
that
but Josh
he
Jacobs
didn't
is
get
no
a lot.
slouch though, man. He's Josh Jacobs. Guy's a tank.
He is, but I think they contained him. But I don't know. I just feel like Bijan has yet to really get it free, and I just feel like the few times that they did break contain, even though N'Kobe seemed to always be there, but that one time that they were able to throw over N'Kobe, you just
Yeah,
never know. I mean, he's a passing
and
running
he
back.
almost had a. You saw he almost had a pick six too. I was like, and he
He
dropped it. I
did.
was like, ah!
I felt so bad for him because everyone's like, God dang it.
You saw his face. He was like, damn.
He knew he should have had that because he was right there. Yeah. Yeah, they
Yeah,
had a couple opportunities to get fixed, and they didn't get them until Reed got his. So
yeah. I mean, he straight up jumped in front of that guy and took
he
that from him
did.
too.
He just went all out. He just put
He
his face
straight
in the
read
turf
that.
to get that.
Yeah, he read that too. He was like, "Oh, I'm coming." Like,
And see, that's what he was good at when he first came. So I wasn't shocked to see him being the one to get the pick. But they had a couple earlier that they could have got to. But things happen, ball bounces.
yeah, and
But yeah,
Michelle. Oh, hey, Quentin had a good game
Quinn,
too.
Quinyon did great. I think they were
Quentin had
talking
a
about
great
Quinyon
game.
since.
Like
Yeah, he's been consistent. He's always
he
there. Put it that way.
he defended a lot of good passes. He because they tried to pick on him too, but he was like, "Nah." He was
Yeah,
like, "Nope."
somebody had tweeted that between him and Slay, they weren't going to those sides as much as they were up the middle with him
Well,
and Monte.
they
Monte got a
tried
touchdown.
Quinyon in the beginning though. They were like, "Oh, we're
They
gonna
did.
try and get him,"
They
and
did.
it did not work. They're like, "No, he's not getting. They're not catching anything." So
I think the only reason why that touchdown got past Quinyon is because he wasn't covered on that part. Like he wasn't the one responsible for that touchdown.
oh yeah,
And
I hate
plus
to
that was when
say,
CD slipped too. He missed a tackle there too on the
yeah.
turf.
I hate to say our boy Maddox did not look good
I feel
Friday.
bad for him. I feel so bad for him. I
He
know.
did not look good Friday.
Well,
Like
if they bring Cooper back, that might be an issue with him. They may decide to split reps with him just to
they're gonna have to. I mean,
be
if he
embarrassing.
doesn't, I hate to say he may be cooked at this point. Like, but
I think the general consensus by fans is that he is, but then I still feel like he's a good tackle, but I do feel like he's always a hair late. But it's like, who's to say? I mean, because I feel like every
yeah,
opportunity now with two good corners, sometimes that's not always on Avante because sometimes they miss tackles up before they even get to him. So,
mm-hmm.
but I do agree with you. Like, I don't feel like and I think they know that, but they know that he hasn't really had the greatest of luck being healthy. So it's like, if he's still healthy,
Yeah.
use him as much
I
as
mean,
possible.
he can still serve a purpose. I mean,
Yeah.
you get down into the red zone, and you don't have to you're not covering a lot of yardage. He can be good, like because remember how good Russell Douglas was at that point in the red zone. Like he was good in the red zone, but get him out in the open field, he wasn't that great. Like as far as
Yeah,
covering
because
people.
that touchdown with Christian Watson was embarrassing. That was
Yeah,
right there where Avante was. So it's like they did that on purpose.
yeah,
But
and we'll see. A lot of guys are slipping too. So
everybody was. I mean, the quarterback himself
so
on both sides. Yeah.
and the pass rush the edges didn't get anything done because you saw them sliding a lot too.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, everyone's still wondering like, is Reddick still willing to come back for no money? I'm like, I think that's a done deal, but who knows? I mean, Jets are
um,
already ready to let go of that whole deal now because they realize he's not fighting. He already lost money now. So
yeah.
how bad do you want to play it? Like,
Somebody said how we should get on the phone and be like, so what you want for him? What you want for him to take
exactly.
him back?
Right. Right. Because that's what
yo, how,
someone just suggested
yo,
that last night. They said, I think Huff
how
should go
funny
back.
would that be?
That would be funny.
But I don't know if their relationship is burned though. Who knows? So
Someone was saying, Derek Gunn, I think you even tweeted that there's not a possibility at all of him coming back. So it's probably burnt relationship. But then I don't know. You just never know because someone said come week 4 that could change. I mean, and that
yeah,
could because that'll be the week before the Eagles bye. So maybe by then, if Huff doesn't get himself up in numbers, because
yeah,
he wasn't effective, and he was the name that everybody was tossing back after that game. Like, where the hell was Huff?
yeah. I mean, you can't be ready to throw this guy out after one game.
It's
Like
one game, right? I'm not convinced of that.
one game on a crappy field. You can't just throw the
Yeah,
kid away.
you have to
Like
realize too, Brazil was also in their winter, which I didn't realize. So it wasn't even hot there. It was like 60 something degrees. So you had a
yeah,
lot of factors working against them weather wise and field wise. So it was almost like the
yeah.
Super Bowl all over again. They were just flopping all over the place.
Oh my God.
That was the
I
first thought I
mean,
had was like, if the turf is the issue, then this is like the Super Bowl all over again. They're damned if they do, damned if they don't. You know?
you got to make your cut.
Yeah, yeah.
Next you know, your feet are coming out from under.
But you see what happened to CD because CD normally has no problem tackling. That boy slid across the whole.
Yeah,
That's why that dude was
yeah.
sprung open because he was like, "Ow!"
He's like, oh shit.
He was like, "Oh shit!" He's like, "Bye."
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
and then he said he tweeted, he was like, I missed a couple tackles, I missed that, but overall, he goes, that wasn't that bad. And I was like, oh, you were fine. It wasn't you. You were running
Yeah.
up against really crappy turf. I mean, they showed all the divots at the end of the game. Like it was just,
I just wish it wasn't Monday night. Why we gotta wait for Monday night football?
I know. It was
Oh
long.
my God.
When you realize, like, especially after Friday night, that
They
you
had
had to wait
11
still
days off.
another week.
They had 11 days off like before this
Seriously, they had
game.
a mini bye. They had a mini bye.
Yeah,
And then they have an
yeah,
earlier bye this month. So it's like, you know, there's no
yeah.
excuse to not feel rested in this first half of the
Well, at
season.
least they didn't do to him what they did to him last year. Remember
That's
they
what I'm
made them
saying.
run
Maybe this
around,
is the reward, right, for like running them ragged.
making them running around, and like,
Right.
oh, guess
That's
what? You got to
probably
play.
the gimme they gave them because they were like, "We'll give you guys a break. We know we had y'all running for 3 games straight."
Yeah, you got to play three games in 14 days. All right.
Yeah. So, but also shout out to Jalen because honestly, no matter how much he put himself in a bad position, he came back. And I like the fact that he even admitted to that in the presser because normally, he's cool, calm, collected, don't really want to talk about the negative. But he even said he put himself and his team in a bad position a couple times, but they overcame it because that's what leaders do.
Yeah.
You make a mistake, you're like, "Oops, my bad, I got it."
And
And
the defense had his back. So
defense had his back, and at the same time, but the only thing I don't understand when it comes to those picks was okay, the one in the end zone in triple coverage. I just figured he was just like go get it. You know what I mean? I think he
Well,
just thought he
AJ
was
slipped on a break. AJ slipped on a break
not
a little
that
bit
one, the
too.
one that Devonta was covered in midfield. Because that was the one in the end zone. I'm talking about the
Oh no,
fourth
I
one.
was just talking about the end zone one when he slipped on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
break.
yeah.
In the
No,
break,
I'm
yeah.
talking about the first one. The first
Oh,
thing was
that was just a
like
bad. That was a bad
he was just
decision.
he just said throw it up. You could tell he's just like whatever. I think he gets frustrated a lot when he does not have see the coverage that he wants, and he has to
That was
realize like
bad.
you
Yeah,
still throw that shit away, buddy. You don't try
yeah,
to just guess at that key moment.
yeah, yeah. Just gas it out. Just throw it all.
Right, right. So those are the things I have to admit are the only things that frustrates me with any quarterback. That frustrated me with Carson, but he would try to throw receivers open, and that doesn't work all the time, if any. But I don't. I agree with what even
That's that
Ruben
Brett
said.
Favre
But
mentality. That's that old
yeah, it's the
that old
gunslinger.
gunslinger mentality. Just I'm just gonna keep shooting until I hit something.
Just go up and get it. And then just after a while,
Yeah.
it's like that's not a strategy though. That's going to make it worse for you and
No.
the receivers. So,
Yeah.
but I agree. I agree that I do think that it's. I've decided not to feel some type of way about it all the time because even though it pissed me off at the time, and it really pissed me off when he was trying to throw to AJ across his body because I was like, that ain't gonna work all the time, Jalen. You can't rely on that arm all the time because
Mm,
someone that said on one of the podcast shows like he has a good arm, but he ain't got that kind of fucking arm. And I was just like, I think sometimes he does get too puffed up in himself. He's think like AJ will get it. No, Negro, that's not the time to throw.
yeah.
But again, easier said than done. It's easy for us to be couch commandos here. I know that as soon as he does a mistake, he comes back. But he knows when he fucks up. As soon as it happens, he shakes his head like, God dang it. You know what I mean? He knows. So I think it's also easier to say that no court for him not having any interceptions in training camp, which means nothing, does not mean that he's going to come in regular season and be interception free. Like, let's kill that whole
Mm,
thing right there.
oh yeah.
Because I don't expect him to be perfect. I just expect him to know when the hell to release the ball. If he had to
It's,
check down, he should have just checked down. He should have just found Saquon maybe before he hit, tried to throw in trouble coverage, and then the other one just throw it away if nobody was open.
yep.
You just gotta waste that down. Oh well, it just wasn't open. But they survived. Being over 30 points in a game that could have really went lopsided early, big win
Hmm.
for the Eagles, as far as I'm concerned. They have earned my respect and just don't do this shit on Monday. Knowing that the first game that Sirianni and Hurts worked together was in Atlanta and they burned them top to bottom. It was probably the cleanest game they'd had for their first game together as a starting quarterback and as a new coach. Knowing that Atlanta's coming here, Kurt, I can't keep a drive clean to save my life, cousins. I am not shocked if this game doesn't come to 40 points as far as on the Eagles end because her cousin just be guessing. Sometimes he's lucky, but a majority of the time, that boy, he's still probably nursing that Achilles. I don't think
Mm,
he can move like he used to move. So I expect Bryce Huff to have a day at home. If not Josh Sweat, somebody better be
somebody's
taking
gonna get
care of that.
home.
Somebody gonna get home and get that quarterback down more than once because Lord knows he turns into Eli Manning once he gets sacked more than once. He just has no power. He just shrinks like a flower.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, so it's going to be good. Monday Night Football is always fun. How have you liked seeing Jason Kelsey? Have you watched him this past Monday night? Because he's been hilarious.
Yeah. I thought he did fine.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, there's not much to critique, but he's just being Jason.
yeah.
I thought it
Yeah.
was funny because he talked about his shirt and he said he goes, my tits are still.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, you said tits. I'm down, Kelsey. You already said tits.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, boy.
We should expect that though. Like he's
I'm
not
just
gonna
saying.
change.
You
He's
know,
not gonna change.
and the funny thing about it is knowing that how much Kylie was talking about in the documentary, how much he forgets his keys. I mean, am I really shocked that he left his bag in his truck before he was supposed to debut on Monday
And,
Night
lo- and,
Football?
and loses his shirt, has to go buy
And
one
has to
for
go and
somebody.
buy a shirt that's two sizes, like a size too small, and he's just like barely squeezing it on. I said, oh boy. But then I'm like, you know what? He played, what, 13 years? You can't tell me there's not a little bit of that concussion sometimes ranging in with some reason why he forgets stuff. Like, he could be a lot worse. You know what I mean? For him to
Oh
only just
yeah,
be doing little things like these, everybody forgets their keys. But I would
yeah,
think him being on MNF, that shows you how much he's so used to being on TV now that it's just like it's another job.
yeah,
Um, And I sent you on our page, on the CoEd edition page on Instagram. He did a very spicy, sexy Campbell's soup commercial, which cracked me up and made me uncomfortable at the same time. So
He
definitely
said
pay
it made,
attention to your
it made
inbox
you
after we
uncomfortable.
finish.
Oh wow.
It's for the
Yeah.
spice, which I do like. I do like the spicy chicken gumbo soup, but
Uh.
he turned it into those like cheesy love like albums after like midnight that you see in the 80s,
Oh really?
all fuzzy
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff.
I gotta look at. I gotta check that out. Yeah, it's pretty
But
funny.
all right, before we wrap real quick, let's just talk about Phillies. They won that series against Tampa Bay, which got really ugly.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Nick Castellanos turned into a punching bag for some reason from the pitchers, and there was almost a fight. That was
Yeah.
exciting. But are you worried
Yeah.
now about how many guys are getting injured? Just, I mean, Schwarber had to go out just because his elbow flared up on him out of nowhere after all these home runs he been killing everybody being leadoff hitter.
Well, he has 15 now, right?
Yeah,
Did he get
he broke the
15
record.
yesterday?
Yeah,
I know
he
he
broke
broke
the
the
record.
record with 14, but did he get another one yesterday?
He did just right, and then the next time he was up, he ended up feeling his elbow, and they took him out. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think he was sliding into a base, and then I think he might have tweaked it. But
Yeah. Well,
are you
now's the
worried
time
about
to
all the
start resting them,
injuries?
though.
Huh?
You can start you can start resting them here and there now. I mean, like not all of them, of course, but
Are you worried
give
about
them
Ranger?
yeah a little bit because I
I
mean
am
I don't
too.
want them to push too much on him right now because he's still that back is a bad tough thing. So I mean if he's I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
He's a competitor. He'll correct whatever's wrong, and get ready for because remember he's been a solid no matter what happened to him during the season in the playoffs. He's been solid.
He had a great year. There's a lot of players that I have to I think the fans have to realize too. They had a great year up until these last couple months. Everybody had been playing stellar baseball for them. They had so many series they won. This is finally the time that it's starting to show wear and tear. And if it's just now happening, just be thankful. A lot of these guys are only on like IL like for 10 days. Bryson
Hmm.
has been having a blank, but then he'll come back and hit a. There's a lot of stuff that's been happening. Bryce is dealing with a bad wrist and his elbow. So there's a lot of guys nursing probably everyday injuries in baseball, but they're just happening at
Yeah,
the freaking weirdest time before Red
I
October.
mean
So
we're still lucky though because I mean a lot of teams are losing guys for the year, and
for the
we
year, right,
knock on wood we have not done that yet
right,
at
and we
all. I mean,
won't. Everybody will come back.
so I mean I'll take these little minor scrapes and beat ups like over somebody losing your star for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and I think even when Bryce does have a chance to sit down, he don't sit down for long because he could have really took off
No, because
longer than
he.
that day that he ran the bases wrong. But
Oh yeah,
that was I didn't see it, but everybody was making such a fuss the next day. I was like, what the hell did he do? And they're like, he was supposed to run the second, and he stayed there too long.
and JT. I mean JT is just getting beat up.
JT, let me tell you, this man, but he's been more frequent, better at the base than he's been in a while. But yeah, he's
Yeah.
been getting beat up too, and him being a catcher, that's kind of expected. But with
I mean
the
yeah,
way
that's what
everybody's
happens.
been
So yeah,
pitching lately and throwing a bat, I mean, these dudes could have
they
CTE just playing
they
baseball.
they got to start. They got to start putting a rule out for those guys that swing around
Yeah,
like that and hit the catchers all the
and hit
time.
the catcher. Yep.
They got to stop that because they take one hand off the bat and they extend all the way back and like you
Yeah,
tagging
like
the
Trey
catcher
does. Yeah,
because
Trey
I know
kind of
yeah sometimes they do call him for interference. But
right.
Trey usually doesn't hit the bat, doesn't hit the
He does it, but
catcher.
I mean, I just meant like what you were building on, like where he's the
Yeah,
one that makes me think of like super
yeah,
extending when they,
super
you
extended.
got to
Yeah,
watch your extension. Yeah,
yeah, and I mean, I've seen them call interference on people for that, but they need to start being a little more aggressive about like
yeah,
telling these guys, like, look, you can't swing back because you're hurting. I'm saying Stubbs got hit in the head the other day.
yeah, and still manages to just shimmy when he got on the base after his head hurt.
Yeah,
He was like, oh,
yeah, right.
feels like a celebration. Oh, Jesus,
Oh God, my head hurts. Yeah, like
And who was the backup catcher last night? Real quick before we end, because I didn't know who the hell he
Garza,
was. Yeah, he did a great
Garcia.
tag. Yeah,
Yeah,
he did a best catcher in baseball tag out last night. That was
yeah, a home play. Yeah, I saw that. That was
very well
good.
timed.
Yeah,
Trey picked it up. It was very clean. I was like, oh yeah, boy, making JT proud.
yeah.
But anyway, so we're looking forward to Monday Night Football. I gotta go because this timer's about to wrap up. But thank y'all for listening.
Yep.
Give prayers for me because I'm still on the job hunt. Give prayers to my Eddie B just for health in general, and we'll talk to y'all shortly after Monday Night Football, if not later in the week, because I'm sure it's going to be a good one, and I'm going to
Oh
be
yeah.
drinking because I think
I've
after
been drinking.
I've been drinking
Karen.
strawberry, whatever. Anyway, all right, I'll talk to y'all later. Birds with feather, we
Later.
out. AJ the Sperm Princess, Eddie B. See y'all soon.
See ya.
We out.